Well, hey, neighbor, it's me, Angie. Y'all come on in here. I'm bringing you another video. I'm so glad you decided to come over today. I have a whole new type of video today. Usually Sunday's my rest day that I don't really do a lot of anything. Maybe I'll watch a little YouTube, maybe I won't. I don't normally do a video on Sunday, but I thought I would just do something a little different. As you can see in front of me, there's a picture that says, "It is well with my soul." Now, this picture hangs in between the two mirrors in mine and James's room, where you go into our bedroom and then you turn and it's two sinks and our vanity and all that, and it's between our two mirrors. He has one sink and a mirror. I have one sink and a mirror. And this is the picture that's between there. And my daughter gave us this picture. Well, she gave this to me for my birthday because she knows this is one of my favorite hymns that we used to sing in church. And I really liked this hymn before I even knew the story behind who wrote this hymn and what it really meant. But I want to share with you the story in case you didn't know about how this song came about. It is well with my soul, because I think it's gonna hit home with a lot of people. So I'm gonna turn the camera around. Hey, neighbor, how are y'all? I just want to tell you this little story that is it can be sad, but it also gives you hope. That you can go on through tragedy, that things happen in our life that we cannot control. Actually, we ultimately cannot control anything that goes on in our life. We can only control how we react to it and how we deal with it in the future of after some tragedy has happened to us. Well, the person that wrote "It Is Well With My Soul," his name was Horatio Sparkford, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it was back in the 1800s. Well, at the beginning of the story, it talks about how successful he was. He had a real estate. He had a lot of real estate. That meant a lot back in the 1800s, and he was also an attorney. So he was set up kind of, as far as his finances to really, prosper. But he and his wife had a son, and when his son was 4 years old, he passed away of let me see, was it I'm using cheat sheets, but it's such a good story, I don't want to get it wrong. Scarlet fever. So, and also during that time, a Chicago fire of 1871 happened, and he lost a lot of property. So he wasn't wealthy anymore, and he had lost his only son to scarlet fever. So you know that he knows what pain is and suffering, because I cannot not imagine someone that has lived through losing a child. I mean, I would not wish that on anybody that I know. It's got to be horrible. My heart just goes out to anyone that's ever lost a child. It should not happen that way. In my mind, we should go before our children go. But to me, they are the strongest people I know that's having to live through that. But anyway, they lost their son to scarlet fever, and then he and his wife had 4 more children, which were girls, and their names were let me see if it says in this. His wife's name was Anna, and he had 4 daughters, and let me see what their names were. Let's see. It doesn't really say in this article that I'm reading, but what he decided to do after he lost everything, he decided, that he would go to on a vacation to do his family some good, with the 3 daughters that he had left and his wife. He sent his wife and daughters on ahead because he had something to take care of before he went on the trip. But he sent his daughters and his wife ahead. Well, during the time that his wife and daughters were traveling, another ship hits their ship, and all of his daughters die. The only one that survived is his wife. So she sends him a message and says, "Saved alone, what shall I do?" That meant she was the only survivor, and what does she do now? So he decides he's going to go where she is. And when he gets to the point where on the ship where it's traveling, where he gets to the point where his daughters that was their final resting spot, because that's where the tragedy had taken place. His daughters had passed away, which had to be a very, very sad, heavy, emotional time for him. He writes this song, "It's Well With My Soul." And he was thinking of his daughters when he was writing this song. And it says, "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to know, it is well with my soul." It says, perhaps we cannot always say that everything is well in all aspects of our lives. There will always be storms to face, and sometimes there will be tragedies. But with faith in a loving God and with trust in His divine help, we can confidently say, it is well with my soul. And of course, I'm a Christian, and my faith is resting in that belief. So years ago, before I even come down with this disease, everything that I would go through, this song would always come back to me, it is well with my soul. That meant that I was not happy with what had happened, with all the deaths that I've had to go through in my life, family members that I've lost, friendships that I've lost, health, finances, just different things that caused me to be unhappy. No, though I didn't like what was going on, because of my faith, I was saying, it's well with my soul. It's okay. I don't understand why I'm going through it, but I know, number one, that you're with me, and I'm going to have to learn something. And please let me learn it so I won't have to go back through this again. So I'm telling you now, each and every one of us experience tragedy. And each and every one of us have a reason to sit down and never get up again. Don't ever move. And who could blame someone that had lost a son and 4 daughters? And come to find out, the story goes on that he and his wife go back to wherever they're from, and she has more children. Now, how hard would that be? I don't know if I could do that. But I find personally, when I go through something, I give myself a moment to, have my moment. Be sad, be mad, be glad. I mean, whatever the moment is that I'm just trying to cherish, I want to sit there in it for just a little bit. But then it's time to move on, especially if you're angry or you're mad or or you've been hurt by someone that you really, really, really cared about, and you just want to give up. Let's don't do that. We're on a journey. We can't have our suitcase packed and just decide to just sit and stay on the side of the road when something bad happens. We have to pick that bag up and continue to walk and continue to go on. Because the thing is, after every tragedy that I've been through in my life, good things have come. Had I just sat there and continued not to move forward, I would have never met you all. I would have never had my 2 children. I would have never had the jobs that I've had. I would have been stuck way back in the past. When I was a teenager, I could have got really stuck. But I chose to continue to walk. So what I'm telling you, go back if you can and look up on the internet about the hymn, It Is Well With My Soul. And read up on that. And even read the rest of the lyrics, because there's more to what I just told you. And even if it'll play the song on YouTube, just listen to how the music is and the words to the song. And you will be able to grasp what it means when it says, it is well with my soul. And that means that you have peace. And it's okay to move on. You know, a lot of people don't want to move on when someone passes away because they're afraid that they won't remember the person or somebody else won't remember them. And they have to stay back there in that moment that person passed away. And I've experienced that myself. But what I find is once I start moving, and don't misunderstand what I'm saying, I know it's hard. It's got to be one of the hardest things to do when someone passes that you really, really, really love. But, you know, that's part of life, is us not being here. That's the destiny that we're all headed for, that we're not going to be here one day. But during that span of birth and until that day, there's a lot of things in there that we can accomplish and do and share. And you know, that song is, we were never promised a rose garden. No, he never said it was going to be easy. He just said he'd always be there with us. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't have the same faith that I do, and that's okay, because you're my neighbor anyway. But I just hope that you'll respect my thoughts and my beliefs. I don't ask you to believe the same thing. Just respect it, and I'm going to respect yours. And listen to the story of It Is Well With My Soul. And from this moment on, maybe you can say to yourself, when you go through something, it's well with my soul. And you'll understand what that means. Because it really just changed my whole attitude about looking at things that I had to face and not really want to face. Like when Taylor was born and she had all her difficulties, we didn't know how she was going to turn out. She's going to have learning disabilities, motor skill problems. We didn't have any idea. And I just had to say, it is well with my soul. You gave this to me, and I'm going to carry it. And I'm going to carry it with emotion. And I'm going to carry it with happiness. The most I can, no, joy. You know, because you can have joy without happiness. Because joy brings peace. Happiness only lasts for a few minutes. But that's for another conversation. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And my daughter, to have bought me this picture, she'll never know how much it meant to me, because she knew that meant something to me. And it was deep within my soul that I was touched by that hymnal. Way before I even knew the story behind the hymn, I was touched. But with that being said, neighbor, until we have another neighborhood talk, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring that bell for when we have another conversation. And please comment. Give me your thoughts on what's being talked about today. I know it was not our upbeat chat. things that we really talk about that's fun, but I just thought I would want to share this story with my neighbors to let you know how I felt about the hymnal, It's Well With My Soul. And with that being said, neighbor, see you next time. Bye.